welcome. You're with us here on the Business Today show. I'm Abha Bakaya. Let's take you through the headlines. Turbulence ahead for Jet Airways revival plan. NCLAT sends notice to airlines administrator, lenders on PNB's plea. First Maruti and now M&M slashing production targets by up to 25% this September as semiconductor chip shortages bite. Sensex rises 514 points. Nifty ends above 17,200 as the Indian stock markets rebound. Reliance and TCS among the top gainers. Bharti Airtel showcases cloud gaming pilot on its 5G trial network. Gamers say the fast network adds to the thrill. Twitter starts testing Super Follow feature, will allow select users to monetize tweets. Sensex up over 500 points today. The Nifty also ending higher, so back on track for both the benchmark indices. 57,852 on the Sensex, up close to 1%. The Nifty also up close to 1%. 70,234 is where we closed up today. So momentum intact. A whole host of gainers: Shree Cement, HDFC Life, Cipla, TCS, and HUL. Remember, a couple of these names, for instance, on the IT pack and FMCG pack have very well been in focus. Even cement has been in focus of late. So a nice mixed bag of gainers today, showing you a bit of breadth in the market. Also on the downside, however, we had auto take a back seat. Remember, a lot of news in the auto space and really how we're seeing a bit of a slump coming in there because of the shortage that we are seeing on chips. So Tata Motors, Bajaj Auto, M&M, and even sales figures this time around haven't been as inspiring. ONGC Divi's Lab making up the losers list today. On the BT IPO tracker, let's take a look at how some of those subscriptions are doing. We've got a couple of IPOs open this week. Surat-based specialty chemicals company Ami Organics has been subscribed after a solid day one, 3.9 times at the end of the second day. Not much appetite continuing to be seen for the Vijaya Diagnostics Limited IPO. Second straight day there, the issue subscribed just 0.47 times at the end of day two. Both issues will close tomorrow. The sale of Jet Airways to the Jalan Kalrock Consortium has hit an air pocket. According to reports, the National Company Law Tribunal has put the sale of the airline on hold until its next hearing on 21st of September. The decision was taken after one of the big creditors, Punjab National Bank, raised doubts over the role of the administrator in the overall sale process. NCLT, as a result, has issued notices to the consortium, the administrator and the creditors. PNB is one of the creditors to Jet Airways and had alleged gross irregularities in the conduct of the resolution professional. PNB's move comes around a fortnight after Jet Airways employees also moved NCLT against unpaid dues. Business Today's Krishna joining us on this story. Krishna, take us through the latest hurdle. It does seem that Jet is continuing to hit one air pocket after another.
Yes, indeed. This is really a continuation of another crisis looming large over Jet Airways. It started with a consortium and we almost didn't know anything about them until they came out of the blue to buy over the financially troubled airline. Now we have a case of Punjab National Bank, who believes that the value of the debt has been reduced on the back of the shares being invoked. That's not all. We will have another issue coming up in terms of parking slots. So we haven't heard the last of this. It appears to be several more air pockets before something of consequence does emerge for Jet Airways.
All right, so continuing to expect further turbulence there when it comes to Jet Airways. Krishna, thanks so much for joining us on that. Mahindra & Mahindra is shutting down its plants for a second time this year. The auto major has said that it's going to be observing no production days of 7 days in its automotive division plants for the month. This is due to short supply of semiconductors which are used in its vehicles. The move is likely to reduce the production of Mahindra's personal vehicles by around 20 to 25%. The company has clarified that there will, however, be no impact in the launch plans of its new SUV, the XUV 700. The company had earlier shut its plants for 4 days in May. Earlier, Maruti had announced that it was curtailing the production of its vehicles by as much as 60% in September due to chip shortage. Brokerage firm Zerodha has announced it will be launching its first mutual fund in a year's time. The company on Wednesday received an in-principle nod from SEBI to set up an asset management company. Zerodha had applied for permission to float mutual funds earlier this year. Reliance Industries has refused to confirm that it's in talks to acquire REC Group, which is Europe's biggest solar panel manufacturer. According to reports, Reliance is likely to purchase the company from its Chinese parent for up to $1.2 billion. Rating agency ICRA has claimed that the second wave of COVID-19 has had a lower impact than the first wave on residential real estate sales all over the country. This is because of pent-up demand, lower stamp duties and other incentives by state governments. According to the agency, the sector is likely to bounce back in the later half of the fiscal. Airtel a step closer to launching its 5G services and has conducted cloud gaming trials on its next-gen network near Gurugram. The technology will help gamers play without having to download the game on their device. Airtel sees a $2.4 billion opportunity in the mobile gaming market. Twitter has just found another way to make money for celebrities and others with big followings on its platform. The social media giant has announced Super Followers, a new monetization tool which will help influencers and others make money by sharing subscriber-only content with their followers. The new plan allows for subscribers to pay between $3 and $10 a month for what Twitter claims will be greater engagement between followers and influencers. The format can be used by news agencies to put out exclusive information, by astrologers to offer personalized forecasts, for experts to hawk advice, and so on. Twitter is launching Super Followers as a pilot project among a small group in the US. There is no word yet on when Indian influencers will cash in on the bonanza. The social media site is following the lead of many news sites and content creators, creating a paywall for their users. Twitter's experiment, if successful, may open the floodgates for other social media giants like Facebook, Instagram, and others to monetize their popularity. Imagine being the proud sole owner of a beautiful narration of the Madhushala by none other than the legendary Amitabh Bachchan, or some of the most iconic posters depicting the megastar's life. All you need to do is log into a website, buy the digital property, and be the sole owner.
Imagine owning a custom version of this famous recitation, a son's tribute to his father. Amitabh Bachchan has joined the blockchain revolution by launching his own NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, for his recital of poems from Madhushala. Also on sale via NFTs are personally signed posters depicting the various landmarks in his cinematic career. All you need to do is access the website, register yourself, and bid when the auction begins. The digital property will be yours. The ownership can be changed as and when you want. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are a phenomena that have taken the digital world by storm. Believe it or not, a 12-year-old in London has made nearly 3 crore rupees by actually creating digital images of whales and selling them as NFTs. Now, what NFTs essentially do is that they create a unique identity for a digital object, and that ensures that the usage rights stay with the owner of that object. Now, using NFTs, you can verify the ownership and the authenticity of that particular object. This makes it an invaluable tool for high-ticket investors.
The market for NFTs was just $80 million in 2019. It tripled to more than $250 million last year, and in the first 6 months of this year alone, NFTs worth $2.5 billion have been sold. Big B is not the only one to have jumped onto the NFT bandwagon. Celebrities like socialite Paris Hilton, actress Lindsay Lohan, singer Snoop Dogg, talk show host Ellen DeGeneres, skateboarder Tony Hawk, musicians Shawn Mendes and Eminem, and Twitter founder Jack Dorsey are among the early adopters of NFTs.
The untimely demise of 40-year-old television star Siddharth Shukla has led to an outpouring of grief across the country, bringing into stark focus the popularity and influence of the so-called small screen across India. We take a closer look.
The untimely demise of 40-year-old television star Siddharth Shukla has led to an outpouring of grief across the country, bringing into stark focus the popularity and influence the so-called small screen has across India. That Siddharth Shukla was popular should come as no surprise, given that it is television that India watches and will continue to do in the foreseeable future. Television remains the largest segment of India's media and entertainment sector. It is bigger than filmed entertainment and enjoys massive reach across the country and deep into the corners of our rural hinterland. India is home to 1.3 billion people and more than 300 million households, of which over 2/3 are TV-owning households. Over the past 2 decades, the number of homes with televisions has more than doubled. Nearly 120 million households in rural India owned a TV set in 2020, as against an estimated 91 million in urban areas. The increase in the TV population has resulted in an overall growth in TV viewership. In line with the pattern of regional growth of the population, TV viewership has grown more in Bihar, Jharkhand, Assam and northeastern states, as well as Odisha. In revenue terms too, television advertising in 2021 is expected to grow over 20% to reach nearly 30,400 crores and to a whopping 84,700 crore by 2023. Meanwhile, the overall media and entertainment sector, comprising television, print, cinema, etc., is expected to recover 25% in 2021 to reach around 1,73,000 crore and then grow to a staggering 2,23,000 crore rupees by 2023. The growth is expected to be driven by an increased base of subscribers as households continue to get televised and television's price competitiveness against OTT and other alternatives. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
We have our Business Today magazine editor joining us now on a very special cover story, and that is with Baba Ramdev of Patanjali, this time riding high on an elephant on the cover of Business Today magazine. Saurav, welcome. Thanks for joining us on the show this evening. Tell us all about this cover story and what led you to arranging an elephant for this shoot.
When we found this story to be so compelling and decided to make it the cover story for the current issue of Business Today, we decided that we would have to make it big. And make it big, really, it was, because when I discussed this with Bandeep Singh, our group photo editor, he immediately came up with this fabulous, interesting concept of having an elephant representing Ruchi Soya. Because here was Patanjali acquiring a near defunct, near dead company like Ruchi Soya from the NCLT, and then turning it around. And it was a large company. So that company represented in a sense, an elephant, which Patanjali was acquiring and seeking to make it dance.
Let's in fact also get a take from Bandeep. While he was on the cover story shoot, Bandeep is the group photo editor of the India Today group, and having shot with Baba Ramdev before, he was able to convince him about the idea behind shooting on the elephant. It in fact took a lot of detail planning to really light up the elephant, and she was quite huge, and to actually spend the day with Baba Ramdev, seated on the elephant and posing for these pictures.
It was a completely unprecedented shoot. Something like this we have never done before. He's the only person I know who can pull off these shoots like this. And he's so agile, so sporting all the time. And it is Babaji that catalyzes these thoughts in my mind. Wow. And the concept behind this shot was that, to use elephant as a metaphor for Ruchi Soya. This remarkable, big, huge company that Patanjali has acquired. And how does Patanjali now turn around this company and make it, completely dance to its tunes?
And here's a slice of my interview with Baba Ramdev at the Patanjali campus in Haridwar.
मैं यदि पूरी रुचि सोया की कहानी बताऊं तो हमने करीब 4,300 करोड़ में ये कंपनी एक्वायर की। आज इसकी मार्केट कैप कम से कम मैं बोल रहा हूँ 25 से 30,000 करोड़ है। और आने वाले समय में ये 50,000 करोड़ तक जाएगी कि 1 लाख करोड़ तक जाएगी, ये तो समय बताएगा। लेकिन हमारा लक्ष्य होगा, रुचि सोया कंपनी एक एडिबल ऑयल कंपनी नहीं, वो फूड और न्यूट्रास्यूटिकल कंपनी, एक हेल्थ और वेलनेस कंपनी हो गई है, जो कि आने वाले समय में देश के अंदर ब्रांड पोर्टफोलियो के अंदर वो ब्रांड लीडर होंगे ही। हम इंटरनेशनली भी रुचि सोया को, पतंजलि को एक इंटरनेशनल ब्रांड के रूप में एस्टेब्लिश करेंगे।
रुचि सोया का एक्विजिशन जैसे आपने किया है, हमारे मैगजीन का इस बारी कवर स्टोरी भी है। हमको बताइए कि उसके बाद आपका विजन क्या है कि कितना बढ़ेगा?
16,318 करोड़ का तो रुचि सोया का टर्नओवर है
जी, और
14,000 करोड़ प्लस पतंजलि ग्रुप का टर्नओवर है जी। कुल मिलाकर के 30,000 करोड़ प्लस का टर्नओवर है अभी, क्योंकि रुचि सोया का हम एफपीओ भी लेकर के आ रहे हैं जी। ये हमारा 1,018 करोड़ का तो उसके अंदर एबिटा है।
आप ऐसे प्लान और विजन बना चुके हैं जिससे आपको लगता है कि एमएनसीज को दाव लगा सकते हैं?
हमारे सारे प्रोडक्ट रिसर्च एंड एविडेंस बेस्ड हैं, प्लांट बेस्ड हैं, 100% नेचुरल हैं, ऑर्गेनिक हैं जी। और ये ताकत आज किसी एमएनसी के पास नहीं है जो हमारे पास है।
रुचि सोया का आपने वैसे भी बोला था कि डेप्थ ज़्यादातर रिटायर हो जाएगा, एफपीओ के बाद भी और हो जाएगा। आप वहाँ उस प्लान में कहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं?
आबा जी, टर्म लोन तो हम एक शॉट में क्लियर कर देंगे, जो हमारा 2,400 करोड़ रुपए का जी। बाकी जो हमारी वर्किंग कैपिटल है उसको भी हम बहुत जल्दी रिटायर कर देंगे जी। और आने वाले वक्त में रुचि सोया और पतंजलि एज ए ग्रुप विदिन 3 to 5 years जी ये देश की सबसे बड़ी एफएमसीजी कंपनी होगी।
इस बारी आपने एक लिस्टेड कंपनी को एक्वायर किया है, आपके लिए एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा? जैसे अभी भी एफपीओ की बात हो रही है तो सबको फिक्र है कि डिस्काउंट हो जाएगा, प्रीमियम डिस्काउंट हो जाएगा, कैसे महसूस हो रहा है?
हमें कोई फिक्र नहीं है, लोगों में इतना ज़्यादा एक्साइटमेंट है जी, चाहे वो इंस्टीट्यूशनल इन्वेस्टर्स हैं या रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स हैं जी। कितना गुना होगा ये तो नहीं कह सकते, लेकिन मैं कहता हूँ कई गुना ज़्यादा ये सब्सक्रिप्शन होगा।
और मेरे को पता है कि मैं बहुत जल्दी ये सवाल पूछ रही हूँ, लेकिन अगर कभी पतंजलि को लिस्ट करे तो अलग से लिस्ट करेंगे, मर्ज करेंगे? आपने सोचा
होगा? वो अलग से लिस्ट होगा,
और लेकिन लिस्ट करेंगे ज़रूर।
पतंजलि लिस्ट होगी, अलग से लिस्ट होगी। लोगों को आरोग्य पाने का तो अवसर मिलेगा ही जी, उसमें लोगों को ऐश्वर्य पाने का, समर्थ होने का भी। तो हमारा संकल्प है सामूहिक समृद्धि, सामूहिक सेवा और सामूहिक परमार्थ, क्योंकि अर्थ सारा परमार्थ के लिए होता है। प्रॉस्पेरिटी फॉर चैरिटी, ये हमारा संकल्प है।
Do catch that interview on Saturday 9:30 a.m., 6:30 p.m. and Sunday 2:30 p.m. Uday and Mukherjee sat down for an exclusive one-on-one with Uday Kotak, the head of Kotak Mahindra Bank, on a whole host of issues and also the outlook for the sector as well. Let's listen into a slice of that conversation.
The one story which I have always thought about discussing with you but never got the chance to is that incident on the cricket field, which apparently turned the course of your life from being potentially a cricketer to the world's richest banker. I mean, you could have been Rishabh Pant, but you're Uday Kotak today. But can you tell our audiences about that incident?
Udayan, it goes back a long time ago. I must say my biggest claim to fame, as I often say, is the fact that my coach, when I was in school was Ramakant Achrekar, and who later on, as we all know, became the coach of Sachin Tendulkar. So that is one of my biggest satisfactions of having learned from that coach, and thereafter was passionate about cricket. And I was playing a cricket match, the Kanga League match at the Azad Maidan, Fort Vijay grounds, and I was running between the wickets, and a fielder from short extra cover hit the ball, trying to hit the stumps, but hit my head. And I had to be operated upon in the next few hours. I had lost consciousness, and it was a remarkable surgery. This was in 1979 when I was barely 20 years old. And that was a turning point in my life. And from then on, life changed towards more a professional career, particularly an entrepreneurial journey shortly began thereafter.
Sometimes people have this impression that bankers are essentially boring people. But you were a serious cricketer. You played sitar for many years, and that's more than a lot of people can actually fit into such busy lives. But I mean, taking off from there, I want to ask you, there is so much of enterprise and entrepreneurship in your blood that today when you see these unicorns who are probably compressing your 35-year journey to a 10-year journey, and they're being valued at billions of dollars, do you sometimes feel the itch again to do something like that, to try an Uday Kotak 2.0 and maybe start a digital enterprise and do what some of these younger entrepreneurs are doing today?
Udyan, the future is looking even brighter than my last 35 years journey. And why do I say that? I think COVID in many ways has reignited planet Earth. It has set off a whole new journey of opportunities and compressed 5 years or 10 years into 1 year. Therefore, you are now looking at the world from a very different lens today than you looked at in the past. And one of the things you learn as you grow is never look at the rearview mirror. Always look at the windshield in front of you when you're driving the car. And I feel very excited to see a traditional financial services business like what Kotak has been historically work towards transformation and embrace into the new world. There are advantages of what we have built, but it's even more important not to be complacent about the success of the past and quickly grasp the change ahead of us.
Catch that full interview Friday, 10:30 p.m. Let's now turn to our daily cryptocurrency check by CoinDCX. After not moving much over the past 2 days, Bitcoin trading at $49,949. That's up 4.6% today at 5 p.m. With a gain of 27.4% to $68.3, the FTX token was actually the day's highest gainer. For the third consecutive day, Ethereum prices grew, rising 5.6% to $3,751. And that's where we leave it on the show today. Thanks for watching. Do stay tuned to India Today.